This year, Kamehameha School's Kapalama students will celebrate Namele Paniolo, Songs of the Hawaiian Cowboy. It was 1793 when Kamehameha Ekahi was given several longhorn cattle, a gift from British Captain James Vancouver. These large animals were favored by Kamehameha, and a strict kapu was ordered, allowing them to multiply and flourish. This soon became a problem as they grew to overwhelming numbers, eating almost everything in their path. The kapu was eventually lifted, but managing these massive animals was extremely difficult because most of the herding was done on foot. Decades later, Kauikeauli sought out vaqueros, or Mexican cowboys, to teach their Mexican ranching style to Hawaiians, and a new tradition was beginning to form.
When Kamehameha III, Kauikeauli, called for them to come, I'm not sure if he would ever envision the impact of the coming of the vaqueros here and the rapid conversion of a foot cowboy to a mounted national champion like Ikua Purdy. It all started with the vaquero showing Native Hawaiian how to build his saddle, how to swing his rope, how to train his own horse, how to tie that bull to the tree. The Mexicans were superior at their art, but the Hawaiians could improve.
Over the years, this ranching lifestyle adapted and began to evolve to Hawaii's unique environment, creating its own customs and vocabulary. At one point, there were ranches on every mokupuni of the Pai'aina, and a handful of them still exist today. More than 200 years later, this lifestyle is still practiced, and it is celebrated in both song and dance. In this pre-show, we will meet with two families that continue the paniolo traditions. And for a special treat, our song leaders speak with esteemed historian and paniolo, Dr. Billy Bergen, and gain some insight on this year's mele. Join us for 2023's Kamehameha School Song Contest, Namele Paniolo, Songs of the Hawaiian Cowboy, the pre-show.
My grandfather has his best friend whose name is Marenchi Dudua, or we refer to him as Uncle Porky. My grandpa used to tell us stories all about how he would ride around the island bareback with his friends just for fun and the never-ending adventures and journeys that they've been on. It was Uncle Porky who actually taught my mom how to get into this lifestyle and what to do and how to care for the animals. She always had an immense love for horses ever since she was a little girl, so that kind of made things easier in a way. Uncle Porky used to always take my mom to roundups, which is when you round up wild cattle into pens and you're just making sure that all those cattle are healthy and good for future. Uncle Porky eventually taught her how to rope, and he taught her on the dummy, which is a fake cow, usually made out of plastic, and she just has to keep on throwing and learning all the different techniques, the flick of the wrist, and just really specialize in that skill. By Uncle Porky teaching her, he also was teaching me in a way that he didn't know. Ever since I was a little girl, I would just watch my mom practice and watch how Uncle Porky would teach her how to rope. I would just pick up my own little kid rope. My mom, she used to stand behind me with holding the ropes in my hands, and we'd just swing it until I finally got it down on my own. And then at the age of 5, it was when I learned how to rope a dummy on my own. That's when I entered my first rodeo event. I was that little girl at 5 years old who out-roped about 10, 20 other kids, and I felt very accomplished as a 5-year-old winning that buckle because it felt like my mom has taught me a lot, and all that hard work and crying really was worth something. Something that I definitely love is the adrenaline rush, because you're just filled with all these nerves and all this excitement.
29, let's see if they can make another one
The
out.
feeling of like the win when you run out of the box, or the feeling of all of it. Even the smell is enjoyable sometimes, although it's not that great. But it's just like a reminder that you get to do this, and it's something that not everyone gets to do. Being around that kind of lifestyle where like you're around animals every day and you attend to them every day really does create a special bond. Especially like in rodeos though, you are like one with your horse. If you're nervous, they'll feel your nerves. So you have to remain calm. I like to talk to my horses, especially right before a rodeo. After I'm done saddling my horses, and I like to sit down next to him and just pet him and just tell him we got this, or we can do it, and just kind of try to calm myself through him, because I know I can't calm down myself. Because just seeing like the stands of people is very overwhelming. And it's just been like a traditional thing, I guess, because my mom also does the same thing, and even my grandpa too. After high school, I feel like I definitely will keep pursuing this lifestyle because it's something that I've been known for my whole life, or like I've grew up with, and I don't think that I would ever want to get rid of it because of how special it is.
Ohana Wong, take one.
You guys remember this one?
Oh yeah, that was a nuts one. Aloha o Kilinahewa ko inoa. Ayao I ka papa umi kuma makahi.
Ke aloha o ahe ko inoa, aia au I ka papa umi.
Belina mai kako, o Matthew Kainoa Wong ko inoa, no Maui, no Waiahuli Maui mai au. I graduated from Kinkekaulike High School. Hele ia nei I Oahu nei, puka mai ke kula nui o Manoa. He kumu o lalo Hawaii wau, ma leila, no umi kumahiku makahiki, 17 years I've been on kumu over there.
Since I was a kid, I always watched my dad guys, always work in the pen, and always watching them. And then once I got a little older, then I would jump in the pen with them and work. And yeah, so maybe since elementary, I would say, yeah, a long time.
They say we paniolos, but I don't really consider us paniolos, you know, more just country kanaka that just love for do country things. So we was raised around cattle, raised around pipi, raised around Leo, horses, raised hunting. So that's just the lifestyle, you know. As a kid, everybody does that. Well, everybody around me, so I thought everybody do the same thing, yeah. Until I went ne'i ohune, then I figured out, oh, not too much people do that kind of stuff, you know. We're pomika'i and blessed that we're raised in that nohana, in that lifestyle. But I've been working with cattle since I can remember, because my father, he the one that don't teach us everything, and he's still working cattle. We kokua and we can kokua. I mean, mahalo to our ohanas that went teach him, and they still teaching us till today. When we kuni pipi, go in the whole process. We start off with we huli pipi. We round up our cattle. After we huli the pipi, then we vavahi, and we separate. We break down the mamas from the babies that we're going to kuni and brand. Then after that, we kuni. I mean, every ranch do them different. Every ohana is different, you know. Ohe pau ka ike ka hala ho'okahi. But our ohana, this how we do them is passed down from generation to generation to generation. Our style is our way that our our father would teach us, their papa. And my father, Stephen Wong, who learned from Bully Dipan, who Andrew Kawai, who Gochanga, Kahaleo Ki, all paniolo ohana. My father's the one, he the one that teach all of us. He still teach all of us. I learn stuff from him every time we stay up there. Same with my sons. Yeah, with these guys. He always teaching these guys. Yeah, when he was young, my father would just call vale, just put him on bareback, and these guys would just ride the horses, just around with no saddle, call vale style, and they got ma'a to be around horses and pipi and animals from baby time, yeah, from small kid time. In Hawaiian, we say holohipa, yeah, to ride sheep. So that's how plenty bull riders start off. They start off riding hipa, riding sheep, and then they go to keiki bulls, then junior bulls, and then bulls. Yeah.
I remember like blanking out when I was on there, and I just remember like grabbing onto like the fur,
wool,
or like that wool. I don't know, the wool, and then the next second I know like I'm on the ground and all this like dirt all in my face.
When my brothers and I was growing up, we would enter rodeo. It was always good fun. I mean, you do them all the time on the ranch anyway, so. But all of our ohana all entered rodeo. So we grew up watching our ohana enter rodeo, so it was something that we enjoyed. So I was like, yeah, these guys, even though they was born and raised on Oahu, you know, we would haul you back to Maui all the time, and I'd be like, you guys like enter rodeo, show my one sheep. Yeah, that's how they started, and then from sheep, they went to keiki bulls. Yeah, and that was cracks these guys got. Yeah, so my father, their papa, he always kako'o and always malama them. So the first time they ever did jump on one sheep, ride on one keiki bull, he was always there suiting them up, getting them ready, telling them what to do. Not one easy lifestyle though.
Not easy, yeah.
Get plenty other kuleana outside of working with just PP. Yeah, you gotta malama the aina, you gotta malama your mea pono or your work stuff, the paia, the fence, the walls, the paipuai or the water lines. I get plenty kuleana that these days no see them all. Yeah. But yeah, I mean it's yeah, you can ask for a better life. Hard, but worth it. Teach you how to work with your hands and how to hana nui. A lot of the ki'i and the vikio, a lot of these kanaka went past. The ones that I went to teach my father, teach us. So it's important, you know, to ho'omau and to ho'ola what they went teach. But yeah, it's super important. It's just hard for the kind forget land, keep land. You know, everything is so expensive nowadays. But this is what put food on our table. Yeah, so it would be good for perpetuate this forever, you know? Because with hana paniolo comes not just malama aina, aloha aina, but also olelo. Yeah, within the hana, you get specific olelo. Huh? So like with hana paniolo, you get olelo. With hula, you get olelo. And certain olelo that is pili to that hana. So that's what made me hoi for learn ika olelo Hawaii. Yeah, was through the ranch work, hearing all these different Hokkien phrases and olelo pa'i'ai. That's where my ulu kahoi, the interest was there. He mea nui ka hana paniolo no mako no kako no ka mea he ike ia i ili mai ai ma luna o kako. Na ko umakokani a o mei au. Na kona ohana no i a o aku iaia. Na ko lako ohana i a o ia lako. No lila he ike maoli he ili no ka ike ma luna o kako. He mea nui e ho'omau ai, e ho'olai, e malamai I ole nalo. So he mea nui ke ia nohona. Bye.
Today, the song directors have the opportunity to chat with Dr. Billy Bergen on Zoom. Dr. Bergen grew up immersed in the paniolo community and was the chief veterinarian for Parker Ranch for 25 years. He's published a number of books on the paniolo lifestyle.
I think it would be good if I could briefly share how I became immersed in the culture of Hawaiian language. This is what my father did. He was a medical doctor, and Esther Ako Mae was a patient of his who nearly lost her life through a tubal pregnancy. He saved her, and in light of the fact that she'd never bear another child, her husband, John Holy Mae, when she was being discharged from the hospital, he told my father, if you ever have a son, I'd like to partake in raising him. At age 8 in 1949, I went to live at Kukaiao Ranch in a very Hawaiian home. In the ranching circles of all of Hawaii, the trade language is the Hawaiian language. Whether you're Japanese, whether you're Puerto Rican, whether you're Portuguese, whether you're Haole, it is and continues to be the trade language. Because of my understanding of the language and the fact that I was already savvy, I was capable to be around horses. I could saddle my own horse. I began to work for ranches completely around the island, only to really begin to understand the commonality of the genre of the Hawaiian cowboy. I just finished 55 years as a veterinarian, and I would have to say that the respect, it was honored to me by the men that were much older than I around me, was simply because I could mouth. As this opportunity came for me to be able to share, I feel that I'm blessed, I'm honored. I'm so happy to be with young people. You are the future. You are the future right now. Let's start with the seniors.
The senior women are going to be singing Adios Ke Aloha.
Adios Ke Aloha. It joins Hawaiian culture with Mexican culture. That's important because until Kau'i Uli, Kamehameha III, called for the bringing of Mexican cowboys here, these men and women had to go to the mountains on foot. Imagine the entire chain was suffering from overpopulation of cattle. They were wild cattle. They were feral cattle, like we have feral pigs. Now let's imagine under a spreading ojai tree, beneath that might be 20 or 30 native Hawaiian people that want to listen to these three guys that don't know the Hawaiian language, but at least by hand can begin to discuss the carving of a tree, the splicing of rawhide, the weaving. We're already for hundreds of years in the Hawaiian culture. So you can imagine the gratitude of those pakero in having students that were ready. And I would say in no more than maybe 2 years, at the most 3 years, you converted an afoot cattle apprehender into a mounted cowboy. Mexico owned California and they were losing it. So all of those rancheros from which they were borrowed back in California, they had to hurry back home. But not all of them left without reproducing children. When you look at the infusion of not only the skill, but the DNA that those people like the Kainoas and the Raymonds, Hindi Sprout, Malama Solomon, they descend from Bakero, and they're proud of it. Next one.
The junior class will be singing Kila Kila and Rough Riders.
Good one. Let's hurry back to 1900 when little Thelma Parker was a 6-year-old girl and she and her Uncle Sam Parker inherited this massive ranch. And along came an attorney from Honolulu named A.W. Carter. He loved horses and he brought in quality horses, mostly thoroughbreds from England, from America. He built 4 15-foot circular, what they call round pens. And that's where you begin to mount your colt, the horse that's never been ridden. And you like it to be round because you want them to keep moving. You don't want them to run in a corner and stop. And then the foreman is going to open the gate And adios, Kilo, brother, you're on your own, because now that coke runs out in a 400-acre patch. That group of men was called the Rough Riders. In the community of Waimea, from those times, even to the elders of today, when you use the term Rough Rider, you use it with reverence. And yet, those Rough Riders were bad boys. They were brawlers. They were scrappers. They chased wahinis. They rode bucking horses. They raised hell every corner of every place they. George Purdy, Rough Rider boss. Laika, Rough Rider boss. Albert Lindsay, Rough Rider boss. Those people are celebrated because of that term, Rough Rider. And that's why I love to hear that song. I love to hear it being brought back. Thank you. Thanks, man.
The sophomore men are going to be singing Hano Hano Wale no na Cowboy.
That is one that has the use of the place names, the use of the work, the actual activity that further reinforces the genre of the Hawaiian cowboy. And, you know, I can't overemphasize that if you're going to survive, whether you're a Rough Rider or you're a cowboy at Kalalu Ranch in Kau, you got to talk Hawaiian. You got to understand first Hawaiian, at least. And the smartest thing you can do is shut up. Don't say very much. Because if you watch long enough, you're going to show you it's not just reserved for the native Hawaiian community, that if this language is going to go forward, and it has to be heard and be welcomed. Beautiful. Thank you.
The freshman co-ed will be singing Kupa Landing.
Kupa Landing. Kupa Landing is the anthem of the McCandless Ranch. McCandless Ranch is one of the most rugged but small ranches on the Big Island, in fact, in the state. And it was made up by a set of 19 cousins. They were great cowboys. And for the fact that Kupa Landing, when you hear that song, everybody thinks of the McCandless Ranch. They think of Kealia. They think of Pokemon. And yet it's a story about things that happened way before Cowboy Lake. But nevertheless, it expresses the history of that outfit, men and women. When you have that connection through music, what you do is perpetuate the culture. And that's why this year, as I look at the choices of songs, I'm so taken by my appreciation for what you young people are doing with your voices.